Welcome back, Helldivers, to a brand new news update. Today we are going to be going through the new information that has come from the CEO, Johan. It's some pretty good stuff to read through today, and yeah, I think Johan keeps on taking W's, to be honest, but I'll leave it up to you guys and see what you think in the comment section down below. Now, if you guys do enjoy today's video, as always, please consider leaving a like on today's video and subscribing. I'm on my road to 250,000 subscribers. Much love to you all, and let's get in with the news. So it pretty much comes through from Helldivers CEO says, after success, the goal now is simple. Make this the best live game you've ever played. So yeah, I actually think Helldivers is getting up there now. In my personal opinion, I think a lot of people have agreed with me that they haven't played a live service game that's kept them so sort of hooked on it for years. I can't even remember my last one. You guys will have to let me know what is your sort of last best live service game you've played. But anyway, so a huge part of the Helldivers 2 appeal is the game's ongoing galactic war. A push and pull conflict between the players and the enemy factions that sees planets liberated, territories lost, and casualties on a multi-planetary scale. The conflict is guided and shaped by major orders, which identify targets and offer rewards, with yesterday's being a classic. We were given a week to squish 2 billion bugs, and we did it in 14 hours. Some people said it was like a day, like 24 hours. No, it was done apparently in 14 hours, which is absolutely crazy work. Well done, Helldivers. I'm very proud of you all. There are many more layers to Helldivers and how the game's unfolding, such as how mechs began leaking, and now there's been like things of the Illuminate that's leaking out, which is crazy. And the developers themselves, in some cases, have become personalities. The biggest by far is Game Master Joel, who became a community meme. If anything goes wrong, blame Joel. But almost prominent is Arrowhead CEO Johan, who regularly engages players with winning combinations of straightforward answers and super Earth propaganda. We're dealing with the former today after Johan popped up in a response to the Gentleman CEO posting a topic about the game subreddit, riding a fine line between constructive input and whiny entitlement. So the Gentleman CEO goes on to list several ways in which they felt people were misunderstanding the nature of live service development and Arrowhead's responsibilities to its partners such as Sony. So Johan goes on and says, I appreciate your sentiment and post, wrote Johan. Let me add some context. Arrowhead is independently owned by people working at the studio and not swayed by shareholders in the traditional sense. Of course, we're in a great partnership with Sony, where we agree on targets to hit, for example, but there isn't a forcing function or requirement per se, which I think is brilliant, and I think that's such a great response, because what happens with so many of the big games in the future is they just get sort of lost in a space of money making, which is never a bad thing. Everyone wants to make money, but in the end, with like sort of crazy collaborations and losing the identity of your game can actually kill it in the long term. And I think, like, as much as Fortnite will always be sort of one of the most popular games ever, I do believe that it kind of lost it just lost its appeal. I mean, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older. I played Fortnite when I was 17, 18, and now 25. So maybe it's just that I've lost the appeal to it, but I just wouldn't really want to play it anymore. Part of the inspiration for the original topic is an ongoing community argument about certain bugs that need fixing and whether these should be prioritizing by the studio over the current rapid pace of updates and additions to the game. And they went, and Johan went on to say, we want to deliver the best in the industry, and we are collaborating our efforts of fixing versus new stuff. It's easy just to say, just fix, don't add, but the reality of the competitiveness in this industry is that we have to do both to stay relevant. Johan says Arrowhead is still figuring out the demands and expectation on the studio, and they know they are high, and all eyes are on us, and we have a sole purpose to make this the best live game you have ever played. We just need to find our stride and our balance. So yeah, I am very happy with Johann's response there. I think as a community, instead of all of us sort of like hating too much, I think if we want this to be our favorite best live service game ever, what we can do as a community is just provide very, very good feedback to what needs to be changed and what needs to be updated, and just keep sending through bug reports, because the more we do this and the more we come together as a community, the better the games end off. I do find that, like, when people say, this game is, like, trash, I can't bear it, like, this doesn't get fixed, that doesn't get fixed, it just doesn't help. And don't get me wrong, there's many games out there, I'm not going to name names, but have had, opportunity after opportunity to sort their game out, and they've been out for years and they never had. Helldivers is at that stage where they've only been launched for like 2 to 3 months, and they have that safety bar now to go and prove to everyone that they are going to become the best company and best live service game and eradicate any bugs that come in their way. You know, that could be a little inside joke there, but it wasn't. So Johann did later return to clarify a few points as well. Saying his point about demands on Arrowhead were not to be defensive, but because I know we can do better as a studio. The games industry is a complicated beast, and we need to stay relevant and keep everyone entertained while fixing stuff. The expectations from our friends at PlayStation are pretty simple. Make great games, we trust you. And I didn't realize that was what PlayStation's stance was. I'm sure that, like was mentioned earlier, I'm sure there is some stuff in there that, they say, right, we do need to hit these targets to make certain, for income reasons and business decisions and stuff. But that's a pretty good way, as long as as long as they're out there just trusting developers to do their best. And, if they break that trust, then that's a different thing. But I think that's brilliant. No one wants to be locked into these contracts these days and stuff. There's so many ways that people are being independent, and independent work tends to be fantastic, actually coming from the love, the heart, the soul from the developer themselves. So there's a whole super earth of players out there who do too, and even making that the gag shows another one of Helldivers 2 ongoing appeals on how we've bought in to the satire of the game and enjoying framing the experience in those terms. It's like, it's one of those things where I just believe we're going to look at such a bright future for Helldivers. And yes, I've seen people that have said, by the way, this is said by every big game, saying that the player count has dropped so much. But the thing so many people forget about is the console versions are massive compared to Steam. So everyone relies on just the Steam charts because there isn't an Xbox charts, there isn't a Steam charts out there. But I mean, Helldivers is still sitting on, right now on Saturday, they had a peak of 200,000, and right now they've got 159,000. And yes, there was points where Helldivers was up at 350,000 players or whatever, but who cares? So many people, it's obviously, you care if you see the game drop down to 40,000 or something, then yeah, that's a huge drop. But they've steadily kept a high amount of players, which they haven't seen drop off now for such a long time. And you're going to get so many people that try out a game because the hype's there. That's one of the biggest things I've learned about as I've grown up and everything, is when the hype is there. When the hype dies down, always at a launch, everyone's trying something new on that day, and then they try it, and then they really enjoy it, but then they just go off and do something else. And that happens so much in the gaming industry. It happens with different movies, it happens with everything. When the hype's there, like the Fallout series right now, the hype is crazy for it at the moment, and I loved it. Then we'll be waiting for Season 2, so the hype will die down again and the Fallout player base will drop, because right now it's at 108,000 players playing Fallout 4 on Steam, which is crazy, and I'm sure loads on console. But then the hype will slowly drop for that, and then Season 2 will come out and the hype will come back. It's just the way that the gaming industry, the movie industry works, and I think Helldivers are doing a very good job at keeping their game relevant. So much love to you all. Leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and I will catch you in my next news video very soon.